Today I'm celebrating Nicholas Copernicus, the man who was, well, he probably wasn't the first person to think of the Earth or the Sun as being the centre of our solar system, because that was somewhat formulated by ancient Greeks, and so he wasn't necessarily the first person on this planet, but he was the first person in the wake of the Middle Ages who came to this realization and coined the idea of the heliocentric model. Rather than seeing Earth with all of the heavenly bodies spinning around it, he saw that the Earth was spinning around the Sun. And part of the way, he came to this conclusion through his observations through a telescope, but he also was able to see that there was a problem with the pattern of the retrograde movement of the planets. If you haven't heard that term before, it's something that astrologers often talk about, which is when all the planets seem to be going around in one direction, and then suddenly for a period of time they appear to go backwards before then going forwards again. And this was a mathematical oddity that confounded a lot of the early scientists as they were wrestling with the movement of the celestial bodies. And it was Copernicus that went, okay, we're looking at this from the perspective of Earth, and we're not realizing that actually what's happening is these planets are all moving at a consistent speed in a consistent direction, and that they're all ultimately spiraling around our star, the Sun, the center of our particular solar system. Now, Copernicus is one of those people of the early Enlightenment whose contribution was enormous, and he was one of those people who was of that time something that I think people took for granted, whereas nowadays people would call him a jack of all trades and maybe try to dismiss some of his discoveries just because of the broad appreciation for knowledge that he had. He was a mathematician, he was a polyglot, that is to say he spoke many languages, and he taught himself so many things. He's what we commonly call a polymath, and his contribution has absolutely revitalized our approach to our relationship with this planet and with the heavens. And so I felt it was really important to include him today in this Genius Tree, these 365 days of festivals. And so therefore I'm celebrating Copernicus.